Hiya, Laurie here and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for all your wonderful feedback on this little series that we've got going on here. It really meant a lot to me, so thank you. I'm really glad you're enjoying it and that you're crafting along with me. It's just amazing. So a lot of you have been asking where I get this folder from, or what to order in order to get it. So I looked out this one because I know that Amazon tend to go between the two, so you can use this one as well. The only thing is, obviously it's not got like the big spine, but right here it does have like score lines. It's got like almost like a frame going around the front and the back, so you could use these. This is quite a big one. I tried to find a smaller one but I couldn't. So you could use these as sort of like a guideline for your spine. So I'm just going to grab a pair of scissors. I'm just going to quickly kind of show you what I would do in this situation if this is all I had. So just trim off, or trim open basically. So it's quite thick obviously, but just trim off the edges. So just trim off the edges so that it opens up like so. And then as you can see, it's got lines here, so I would use that as my spine. And then the bit here is obviously a lot smaller than this bit here. So what I would use is, I would use that as my spine area. And then I would take some card, like so this one's quite big, so, and I would sandwich it, obviously making sure it reached right to each end. And I would glue a bit on either side and use that as like to reinforce this part and as my flap. So if you want, I can do a whole other series like on how to use one of these to make the exact same thing, so that you've still got a nice decent sized spine. So obviously this has got a fold, so you could technically just put a signature in here and use it, but you wouldn't get as much give. So I would like fold this onto that part there, and the same. I'll try to do this quickly so that you kind of get an idea. And then I would use that as a spine, and then once you put card and stuff on it, it's going to reinforce it so that it's not going to fold and stuff. And then like I said, I would use this as like the spine area, so this would be your opening, and you could even widen that, and then I would add more to create the flap. So I hope that made sense. I didn't give the measurements last time either, and again that's purely because these come in all different sizes. So the size that I'm working with is just over 10 inches, which is about 20, just shy of 26 centimeters by 15 centimeters, or just shy of 6 centimeters, and the spine is just over 1.5 inches, or just over, well, about 4.5 centimeters, or just over 4 centimeters. So obviously you can make this any size you want. You can just make it out of card and just kind of jigsaw it together to make it the length that you want. Or you can, like I said, use the other stuff. I'm just going to shove those out of the road. I hope that helped you guys. I certainly don't want you going out and buying something purely to get this, but what I usually order, and that always comes, hold on, what always is delivered is I get a 2-pack of the 3-in-1 Beacon Advanced Craft Glue, but I get this purely because it's like my ride or die glue. So I'm just going to grab another one because that one's quite empty. I certainly wouldn't say go out and buy something purely so you can get this folder. You can recreate the same idea without needing the folder. You could just use a cereal box which will already have certain folds in it for you. You could use like a cookie box which will be about the same height even. There's a lot of things you can use that you don't necessarily need this. It's just, this is what I had lying around, and I know a lot of people do have them, but there are substitutes that you can use instead. So all that being said, we can get into it now. So I've picked out one of my favourite books. I'll just put this to the side. So we can grab some pages from this. This is a new one that just came, and I absolutely love it. This is the England as a Garden, A Wayfarer's Companion. And the pages are absolutely gorgeous. I've also lifted my camera up slightly. I hope this is better for you guys. But every single page has gorgeous illustrations of flowers and sketches, and just it is one of my favourites. I think I've got about 6 of them, because every time I see one I just grab it. It is just stunning. And the pages are all aged on their own. Like this one's actually almost looks damp. But I'm going to just find the centre of a signature and cut out some pages. And I've also grabbed a scrapbooking paper pad as well. And I thought I would do the same thing that I did in my own ephemera folder. So I would have a scrap piece of paper on one side and then the book paper on the other. Is that loose enough? Nope. And that just kind of helps reinforce, because this is obviously a vintage, or at least a very old book page, so it's not ridiculously sturdy. It is pretty sturdy, but it's not going to stand the test of time if you're constantly putting stuff in it. So I'm going to grab, I think I said 5 signatures last time, so I'm going to grab this one page. So I just went and grabbed out the rest of those, because I had to kind of get my head right over them to see the string. As you can see, it's tiny. So I've got 5 pages, and then I'm going to take 5 pages from this. This is a new one that I got. I got it from The Works. It was £3, and I haven't used it yet, but the pages in it are just like, look at that. Definitely using that one. So I think I'll use that one as well. Like, how gorgeous. There's 3 right away. I like that as well. The really cool thing is they're all sort of like that wood grain on the back as well, so you're not... Let me use that one actually. Oh, I don't know. They're all so pretty. Oh, look at that. I'm going to have to use that one. So that and that. So there's our 5. Possibly. I'm a sucker for punishment. I kind of want to keep looking to see what other ones I like. But I think I'll go with those 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 5 each. And these are pretty much perfectly sized height-wise. I think I will take just a slither off the top, just because I don't want them kind of peeking out a little bit at all. So I'll probably take just the tiniest bit off the top, and then we're going to be using this here as our sort of width guide. So I'm going to be working in centimetres again. About 14 and a half should be fine, by say 25, and that should fit snugly in there. So I'm going to go and cut these down. So that's me cut them all down, 5 of each, and they all fit, or should fit nicely inside. So I've folded these ones so that 2 of them are on the inside and then the rest are on the outside. So I'm going to have it so that you're going to have book page for one, like covering one, and then alternate pages basically. Was the easiest way of putting that. Put that to the side. How gorgeous is that? So I want the pages that I like best, I guess, on the outside. So let me see. I think I preferred that side. I don't know actually, because I really like that. Yeah. I'm just going to kind of look through and see what I prefer. That one's got some beautiful images on that end, so I can pop that like that. And then on the inside, you don't have to do this, you could use scrapbooking paper that's sturdy enough. I just like having the different pages. It's a preference really. I think I'll leave that like, oops, yeah, no, actually that is the right way. Actually I think that was, yeah, making sure I've got that one the right way around. So yeah, you could just use this type of cardstock. You could just use plain white cardstock. You don't have to use anything overly fancy. It's just what I like. So that's my pages. I've got 5 and each page will be its own signature. Again, that's something that you could do differently. You could definitely put 2 pages per signature. I just like the security it provides. So what I'm going to do now is glue that. Well, this is where you have a choice. Are you ready to be strong? Name that quote. But no, this is where you make a choice. You can either glue them together and then add your pockets. But if you're going to sew them, that's where your pockets need to be exact. So if you put a pocket here, you have to put it in exactly the same position on the inside, so that when you stitch it, your stitching is going to catch both pockets on each side of the page. Or you could add your pockets, stitch them, and then glue the pages together and then stitch around it. Now if you're not stitching, you don't have to worry about this at all, and you don't have to stitch it. I've done pockets where I haven't stitched them. I've also done pockets where I've added washi tape, rather than, like, I've glued them and then covered them with washi tape for decoration rather than stitching. Stitching is my preferred way to do it, but you don't have to, alright? So just because I'm doing it doesn't mean that you need to do it. So I'm going to glue them together and then I'm going to stitch the pockets on. But again, that's just my way of doing it. So I'm going to use the Uhu. And again, I'm using this because I know I'm going to be stitching it. You don't want to use anything like a double-sided sticky tape or something that could potentially ruin your sewing machine, basically. Because obviously we are going to be putting this one through the sewing machine. So I'm just kind of lining up the fold. And then I'm just going to fold this over. And then I'll go around and trim. Because they are the same size, you're going to get some bits kind of poking out once you've folded them. That's normal. So I'm just going to go ahead and add, I'm not going crazy with the glue, I'm just making sure that it's going to stay in place before I stitch it. So I'm going to go and do that to all 5 of them. So that's them all glued together. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my acetate. So what I use instead of acetate is laminating pouches. I find that they're cheaper and slightly more durable compared to the acetate. So I just buy like a big box of them, 120 pouches of A4 size laminating sheets you get, and I just got this off of Amazon, and I just grab a few and then I put them through empty and laminate them. So there's a little trick for you guys. I find that you get more of these for the same amount of money that you would pay for maybe like 20 sheets of acetate. You get like 100 sheets of laminating. You can also like pick up these in like the pound shop. I don't know about America, but I know that you can get, I think, like 10 or 20 sheets for £1 in the pound shop. So just a little cheap packet if you have a laminator. I don't know how you would laminate them without a laminator. You could maybe iron them, obviously with something over the top. Don't take your iron straight to these, but I mean, something I could definitely try and let you know if it works. But I'm going to go ahead and laminate those. So that's me laminated them all, and I find that these are they feel thicker and just more durable than the acetate. Acetate feels quite thin, and I don't know, I just prefer this. So as for my laminator, I got it off Amazon and I think it was like £15. So I mean, you don't have to go out and buy an expensive laminator. You don't have to go out and buy a laminator at all. You could definitely just use acetate or vellum, or you could just use card. You don't have to necessarily see it inside the pocket. It's just, again, my preference. So I'm going to measure and cut these down. So I want them to obviously fit inside my page nicely. So I'm going to cut them to about 13.5 centimetres, and that should give me a nice width. And I'm just going to trim off the very edge because they have, I don't know if you'll see that, but they do have a slightly curved edge, which I don't want. So I'm just going to trim that edge off, just a tiny little amount just to get that edge off, and then I'm going to measure it down to 13.5 centimetres. Obviously this will vary depending on the size of your pages. It may be completely different. Again, I'm just going to cut this bit down here. 13.5. And I'm just going to do 2 pages to start with, and then I'll add more as I need to. I'm just going to trim that little curve off again. So how was everyone's Christmas or whatever you celebrate? I'm not going to start naming them because the odds are I'll miss one. So how was your holidays? I hope you've had a really nice celebration time if you celebrate anything. We had a really nice quiet Christmas in the house, just with the kiddies, although my dad did pop over, which was nice. Just going to trim these corners off again. So we just had a nice wee quiet day in the house, which is pretty much norm for us at Christmas time. Not much was different this year, except that my dad popped over, which was a nice little change. With all the restrictions and things, he couldn't come over before Christmas to drop off presents and stuff. Over in the UK, we had the restrictions that unnecessary travel, you couldn't do it outside Christmas Day because of obviously COVID and everything like that. So he came over on Christmas Day and he brought my little brother, which was a nice little upside to all this horridness that's been happening. It meant that we got to see them on Christmas Day. So other than that, we just had the kiddies in the house. We played games. My son and I, we won at bingo. So we just had a nice quiet family day in the house. So I'm going to measure how high I want these pockets. I want all different sizes. I would like some big pockets, some little pockets, because obviously if you've got a little bit of ephemera, you don't want to be tucking it into a big massive pocket, because then you'll never get the blooming thing back out. So I like to add different sizes, because I know myself, I have, for instance, labels. I have big labels that I don't want to maybe topple out of smaller pockets, and I have small labels that I don't want to have to get tweezers out of, like to get tweezers to get them out of the pocket. So I'm going to make, I think, a 6cm pocket, so that'll bring it to about here for this page. So I'm going to do 2 of those, because I want one on the other side as well. And then that's going to leave, so if I put it like right at the bottom, that's going to leave like all of this page here. So I'll obviously want a little gap, and then I think I'll put a 4cm pocket there, and then another 4cm pocket there. So I'm going to put 3 pockets on this page. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to make my 6cm, if you can see it. And like I said, I'll need 2 of those. So whatever pockets, excuse me, whatever pockets you make, if you're doing it the same way I'm doing it, where you're going to sew it on, like, you're going to want 2 the exact same size, so that you're going to catch it on the other side of the page. So I'm just going to start using these little bits. So I need 4 4cm ones. So my shadow keeps covering up that bit that I need to actually see, and that's too small. So I may do a 4cm and a 3cm actually, because that's what it's giving me when I finish cutting. I'm going to trim this down to 3cm and grab this little guy. There we go, that's fine. So I've got 3 pockets here. I can get a hold of it. So I'm going to glue these on using my, I think this one's, no, that one's actually got less in it, 3-in-1 craft glue. And I'm just going to glue the first one on, like the big one on first, because it's at the bottom of the page. Have I got that in frame? Because it's at the bottom of the page, it's easier to kind of judge where that's going to land, and then I can use that as a sort of guide for where my other ones are going to go. And I'm just putting a line of glue on the sides. I'm not gluing all the way around, because I don't need to. Obviously, if you're not sewing, then you're going to need to obviously glue all the way around it. So now I'm going to pop that open. And if my glue will cooperate, there we go. And then I can just glue this again as close to the bottom. And then I'm just going to kind of feel to see if I need to move it any. I think I need to slide it over. Sorry if I'm out of frame here, guys, but I need to obviously have my head over this. to kind of see where I need to land. There we go. So that should be in alignment. You can't really see it obviously, but they should be in alignment so that when I sew this on, I can see it. It catches both of them. So I'm going to use this as a sort of guide, and I'm going to measure up about 5 centimeters. And where did I put that pencil? There we go. And I'm going to put a little dot, just a little tiny dot, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. Measure up 5 centimeters. I'm just going to put a slightly bigger dot there because of the pattern, and that's going to be my marker. So I'm going to have my next pockets, which are going to be the 4 centimeter pockets, sit on that line, and once the stitching in that is in place, you won't see that. Alright, so again, I'm just going to put some glue here and here, and I'm not putting a lot of glue on, I just need this to hold it in place while I stitch it. And I don't want them too close to the fold because I don't want it to interfere with the fold. And I'm going to flip it over, and that's basically the system that I'm going to use for all my pockets. I'll put the first one down at the bottom, and then I'll use that as my guide to place my other ones down. And then again, I will check to make sure that they line up as well. That should be fine. Slide it a wee bit over. And there we go. So I can feel that those are lining up. And again, I'll just use that as my guide. The top of that is my guide. And I'm only going to measure up about 4 centimeters. And you come over here a wee bit. I'll never see that. 4 centimeters. And then I've got my little 3 centimeter pockets. So slide that off a wee bit because volcanoing on me. And there we go. Sure it's level. And there we are. So I'm going to go and do that to the rest. I'll do different size pockets. Some will have 3 pockets per page, some will have 2, some might only have 1. And I'm just going to do the exact same process that I just did. If I do it on camera, I'll be here till like next week. So I'll do this and then I will come right back. So I have now, oops, added all my pockets just with the glue on either side. So there's no, it almost looks like a belly band basically. So I'm now going to take these to my sewing machine, and I've done it upside down and back to front. So I'm going to take them to my sewing machine and sew all the way around. You can do a zigzag stitch or a straight stitch. A zigzag stitch, you're more likely to catch the pocket if it is slightly unaligned. I'm going to test it because my zigzag stitch is temperamental. And I'll see which one I decide on. But I'm going to go and stitch all the pockets, and then I'm also going to stitch around the edge of the page, and that's because I haven't completely glued it together, so I want that decoration basically. And I will be right back again. So that's them all sewn. I've done a zigzag stitch all the way around the pockets, and then I've just done a straight stitch all the way around the edges. And this arrived today. So it is the Robin Buff Wax Metallic Finish. So I thought we could go around the edges with this. It is in the colour Autumn Gold. So I've never used this stuff before, but I've seen obviously a lot of people on YouTube using it. So I'm hoping that it looks nice. Ooh, look at that. It's like a rusted gold shade. Very pretty. I'm trying not to put too much on because I don't want it to go crazy. Oh, it's got a very like aerosol type smell to it. Wasn't expecting that. So it smells kind of like spray paint, which I suppose makes sense. So I'm putting a little bit on from my finger, and then I'm using another finger to kind of rub it in. How cool! Oh, I like this. It's one of those things that I kept meaning to buy and just never did, and then it popped up on that. It was on Amazon, and it like Top Picks for You or something it's called, where it picks out things similar to items that you've looked at, I guess. I don't know, but it popped up on that, so I was like, I'll give it a try. I like it. I may need to get more colours. I thought this was going to be more of a gold colour, to be honest, but I'm not hating it. It's really pretty. It's like a rose gold almost. So obviously you don't have to use this. You could ink the edges. You don't even have to ink the edges. I didn't ink the edges in my ephemera folders. I didn't do anything to the edges. I just wanted to try this and see if it worked out nicely, which was a kind of a gamble because it could have turned out terrible. Then I would have had to do the whole page again. But I like it a lot. Oops, got some in the pocket there. Yeah, I got this on Amazon. I think Tim Holtz does one as well. I may be talking rubbish on that, but I'm pretty sure I've heard people mention Tim Holtz. I don't think it's called Robin Buff though. I think it's called something else. I think that might actually be the brand. Again, I could be talking pure rubbish here. I'm literally just putting on a tiny bit at a time. Oh, it's so pretty. I'm going to go ahead and do that to the rest of the pages. And I will come back when it's done, because otherwise this video is going to be mega long. And I'm pretty sure it's already mega long. Oh, I missed that bit. So let me know down below, would you rather I didn't cut these bits out that I had longer videos and left all this stuff in, or are you quite happy for me to keep going away and coming back? Because obviously the videos are for you guys, so if it's annoying for me to constantly be like, and I'll be right back, let me know if you would rather that I just did like a full-on no edited craft along, or if you, I feel like I can get more into the video if I do edit it down, so I don't want the videos to be too long, so I feel like obviously with me going away and coming back and stuff like that, I can edit it out rather than repeating myself. Okay, so I have now gone over all the edges. I really like it. It's really messy though. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I made a mess. Like, I made a serious mess. So obviously this is the first time I've done it, so it's not going to be perfect, but I love it. I absolutely love how it frames the page, how it looks just gilded, and it's so pretty. Did I miss this page? Oh no, I didn't. Just might need to add a wee bit more along here. But I think that I'm going to wrap it up for today. In the next video we will start binding them, and then we can also add some decorations. Can maybe let me know, would you want pockets on these parts, or do you want to leave those blank? In my ephemera folders I have a pocket here and a pocket here, and it's just the same idea, the acetate style pocket. But let me know, would you want that, or do you want to just leave it back? Would you want scrapbook paper pockets? That would obviously cover up this image, but let me know. What kind of things do you want? A book plate on it, like what I have on mine, like where you can slide your little title in? Where would you want it? Would you want it like on the front cover? Would you want it on the flap? Yeah, let me know what kind of decoration you would like on your ephemera folder. Do you want lace? Do you want buttons? Do you want ribbon? Tell me. And we will start binding these in as well. Well, we will bind them in the next video. And let me know again if you want me to do the other envelope, if you want me to do a full craft along on how to turn that into a ephemera folder very similar to this. And I really hope you guys are being safe out there. I know that the virus cases are rising again, so please be safe out there. Be cautious, stay home if you can, and wear a mask. I know it's a bit of a pain in the neck, but it does help. And just be safe, guys. I really hope you are all well and that you are all healthy, and that you are having a lovely Christmas period or whatever you celebrate. And I will hopefully see you, well, I will see you, but I was going to say I'll hopefully see you again before the end of the year, but I won't. So have a happy new year, and I will see you next year. Bye.